Hello, welcome to another beautiful evening. This is Monday. And of course, we are bringing to you what we call the special time. And of course, why do we call it a special time? Because it is time for us to look at headlines from the national dailies. What's happening? What's the most important thing happening right now? Well, there are many, but we would take just a few out of it and analyze it, break it down for you to have a better understanding of what it is all about. All right, let's quickly intimate you about what we would be talking about today. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and of course, I would be here with my guest as we talk about these are major headlines for you today. Beginning from what the oppositions are saying, you can't take it away when it comes to oppositions because opposition politics everywhere. The People's Democratic Party, we know how they've been in recent times talking about the issue of crisis everywhere. And of course, apart from the crisis, we can see that there is an internal rancor and of course the defection of governors from the People's Democratic Party. If you want to ask me, I think I can beat my chest to say, well, I don't know, there might be more, but the strongest governors standing in the People's Democratic Party right now are just two that I know, the Bauchi State Governor and and of course the Oyo State Governor. But then let's look at the issue a little bit. How did it get started? What is the problem? How did they get to where they are today? And of course, one of the issues is beginning from the G5, the issue of some persons being angry that what they discussed as it has to do with zoning wasn't followed, and it brought about a lot of crisis in the People's Democratic Party, just like a joke. This is a political party that was in power, all right, for several years, and of course, 16 years. And they were, some of them even said they were going to be in that space for so many years. But then sometimes you sit down and you begin to ask questions. What happens to political parties? What happens, all right, if their tenure, their period is finished, when they are done with their term, their administration? If the administration is over, what's next for every political party? Let's just do an analysis of political parties. The People's Democratic Party were there, took over, and of course handed over to the All Progressive Congress. We are seeing what is happening to the People's Democratic Party right now. But are we thinking that the same thing could also happen to the All Progressive Congress after they finish their term, after this administration is over? Then you begin to ask questions. People who are now defecting from one party to the other, especially from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress, and from other parties too, what will become of them? Some person said there might be implosion in the All Progressive Congress, but then the person at the helm of affairs in the All Progressive Congress APC is a master strategist, and of course he knows exactly what he is doing. But then the All Progressive Congress APC would always tell you, well, this is the decision of the governor and senators, House of Rep members, councillors, or whoever they are that are defecting to this political party called APC, the ruling party at the moment. Then we'll also look at what is coming from Academy of Science as the edge, of course, increase investment. Very important. our education sector, the educational sector in Nigeria, there are so many things. I'm just trying to let you know, very soon we'll start analyzing these topics one after the other, but I'm just trying to give you an introduction, a breakdown of what we would be talking about today and why it's necessary to talk about these things. Have you considered the issue of research in our schools today? How is it like when we want to talk about research? Research in our schools, there is a lot of problem with research in our schools. But then, there is little or nothing you can do when it comes to research in our institutions. But there is an urge coming from this quarter that there is need for research and innovation. We'll also look at 2027 election. ADC says governors treating Tinubu like God for political survivor. Well, that is big. Well, I was thinking about this headline, and my guest will actually talk about it. But then I'm just giving us a heads up about what is happening right now. That's what it is. Opposition politics, PDP, all right, and all of that. You look at these situations. Research Innovation Academy of Science is urging for increase in investment. Then ADC says governors are now treating President Bola Ahmed Tinubu like God because of political survival. But some of them will tell you, well, we are not joining the All Progressive Congress because of politics, but because of the people, or probably because we really want to take home or take to our people the dividends of democracy. And of course, they'll tell you their ship is crashing. They can't remain in that ship, as a matter of fact. And so many other headlines that we'll be talking about today. But then I think it's time for us to take a quick break. After this break, we'll have our guests join us as we get into the conversation in full force. All right, we will return after this break. Stay with us.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Osoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
Welcome back, and let's get into the conversation right now. Iya Peters is joining us via Zoom, while Ben Esset will join us very soon in the live studio. It's good to have you join us, Peters. Hello, Peter, can you hear me? Yes, we're talking about opposition politics and the People's Democratic Party, no longer a political party. You know, this is coming from an APC scribe in the person of Felix Morka. You know, he was the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressive Congress, and he has said this. What do you think about this statement? Iya Peters is joining us via Zoom, and he will be reacting to this. But you can also drop your reaction for us on our social media platform at Global TV NG. You can reach us right there, and of course, as a matter of fact, you can also watch us live on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Peters, it's good to have you join us via Zoom. Hello, Peters. Thank you. Oh, all right. We're talking about opposition politics. The People's Democratic Party, according to Felix Morka, an APC scribe, said the PDP is no longer a political party. I'm wondering what it is right now if it is no longer a political party. What do you think of that statement? Please unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Peters. Unmute your mic. All right. Thank you for joining us, Iya Peters. And of course, I have Bernard Isit in the studio right here. It's good to have you join us, Ben.
Thank you so much for having Ramsey. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the program.
All right. Let's quickly get to Iya Peters, who is joining us via Zoom. All right, Peters, if you can hear me, what do you think of the statement coming from APC scribe Felix Moka, who said PDP is no longer a political party?
Sorry. Enoch, why don't I join again? I will sort this network issue out and join again.
What do you think about Felix Moka saying PDP is no longer a political party? That's APC scribe talking there.
Okay. Felix Moka is in the APC. Same thing APC is saying now. PDP said it before. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Continue, go ahead. Okay. Go ahead, I can hear you.
Felix Moka, you should expect politics. Yeah, election is just around the corner. And political parties will come out to say different things against other political parties. And if PDP, some members of PDP, if you give them an opportunity to react to what Moka said, they will tell you that probably Moka is scared of the People's Democratic Party. But then politics is around the corner, and we should expect all of this reaction and all of these comments in the political air. But my major concern about these things or this kind of statement is, do we really have a reliable or credible opposition? One will begin to wonder what gave Moka that kind of courage, or where he's standing for him to be able to beat his chest and say that PDP is no longer a viable party. PDP, which used to be the biggest political party in Africa, in quotes, is no longer a viable party or a strong opposition. So if Moka said that, then do we have opposition? Because for every democracy, opposition is what makes every democracy thick, because they serve as watchdogs. Apart from what the citizens do, it is other political parties' opposition that actually give credibility and make other political, especially the ones in power, sit up. So Moka said PDP is no longer a threat. That's in other words. So my concern as an advocate for good governance and accountability, my concern is, what is Moka really saying? On what authority, on what information does he stand on to say that PDP is no longer a credible opposition party? Is it that he's aware, he knows something, that PDP cannot even do anything, even if they try to galvanize? So this is actually not a good thing for democracy, but at the same time, I hope it should be able to, let me use that word in the street, ginger PDP to go back to their house, put it together, and give us a credible opposition and give us a credible watchdog.
Okay, thank you, Peter. But then, with what is happening in the People's Democratic Party right now, the defection, because a lot of people, apart from Moka, a lot of people are feeling disappointed in what is happening in the People's Democratic Party. Are you surprised with what is happening in the People's Democratic Party, same party that ruled for a very long time, like you said? But imagine the defection, the governors leaving. Who do we have? Bala Mohammed, you talk about Makinde of Oyo State, then maybe a few other persons. But as it is right now, with the spate of defection, do you think even if PDP comes together right now, the two factions, even if they come together, do you see them doing anything in 2027, or you feel PDP can also merge with other political parties to be able to give APC a run for their money in 2027? To Ben in the studio here, Moka said, well, PDP is no longer a political party. This is Felix Moka talking right here. And you heard what Peter said. He said, well, no matter what is happening, you can't write off a political party just like that, probably because there is an issue that they can still come together. What do you think of that statement coming from Felix Moka and reacting to what Peter said?
Well, sometimes when you look at the whole issue of political development, we wake up in the morning, we have some numbers, and we are trying to fact check or make some maybe analysis, presentation. Before in the evening, you will find out that the number has changed. Because for me, with the recent number that I found out, I know that the PDP is no more a main opposition party. Because when you look at the defections from the PDP now in Senate, National Assembly, the ADC has 9 and the PDP has 6. Then when you look at the likes of Labour Party, NMPP has 1, SDP has 0, and you begin to ask yourself what exactly is happening with these issues. So obviously, I really don't know. We have given the PDP realistically the time to wake up from their slumber and see how these issues is going to resolve. The last time when the issue of the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, you can duly remember when he had issues with the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, where he allegedly said, or he said, according to him, that Makinde was saying that he's holding down or pressing down PDP so that in support of President Bola Tinubu. But at the end of the day, we have seen back and forth between Seyi Makinde and the Minister of Federal Capital Territory. So basically, I really think, and at the end of the day, if the Minister of the FCT is making a statement saying the likes of telling Bala Mohammed of Governor of Bauchi State, let me see who is going to be your successor. And another time he said he's interested in your election. Obviously, it stands to reason that the PDP, it looks as if the umbrella has torn apart, because if you hear the words of His Excellency, former Governor of Ekiti State, Ayofa Oshe, consistently labeling or saying PDP, giving them some, using some strong vocabulary of what the PDP is, it will really tell you that PDP for now is really suffocating. Or might rightly say that he is looking for a Lazarus effect, because he needs to wake up from that slumber where he's sleeping or he's already dead. But basically, I don't think with the way things are happening, PDP might not be a viable opposition come 2027, except we can really say maybe in 2031 when they have really looked at themselves, or maybe wash their dirty linen, come back again to say we are very sorry, they apologize, they can begin to bring forth. But basically, at this stance now, I'm sure that the PDP is not strong enough to battle the APC. And basically, if you want me to be very factual, President Bola Tinubu has really strolled to 2027.
That's free,
Yes.
free stroll
Yes,
to
they are
2027.
just strolling there.
But why will you say that? Apart from APC, what of other political parties? What do you think will happen today? All right, like as at yesterday, Dele Momodu was doing an explanation, a discussion, and he was plotting some graph on a program yesterday, and he was talking about how if the likes of Atiku, Obi, and the rest of them can position well, they will still give the APC a run for their money. And if, let's say, for instance, if the other political parties come together to put heads all in one, they would be able to give the APC a run for their money. Apart from PDP, don't you think that's a possibility? Let's say, for instance, what do you think will happen if we have Atiku and Obi being fronted by the ADC? Then you see all other political parties supporting them, apart from just ADC alone.
It might not really work out, because what gave President Bola Tinubu victory in 2023 general elections was the inability of Peter Obi to join hands with Atiku Abubakar, and he went to Labour Party. And by doing that, President Bola Tinubu have the advantage because they have already shared the vote. Now, when you come out to ADC, it is only Dele Muhammadu might likely be giving us statistics and permutation, but we do know also that when you look at the strategy of the APC have one basic strategy in making sure they are really, even if they are not getting the dividends of democracy, but the people are seeing their presence. Even if the president is not physical, they are seeing their billboard, they are seeing their vehicle, looking at President Bola Tinubu's picture all around the geopolitical zones of the country. They are feeling his presence. Now, for example, we have seen traditional PDP states like Akwa Ibom State, for example, like Delta State, now have metamorphosized to an APC philosophy where you never thought that would happen. Even if you are now saying if Peter Obi become a running mate to Atiku Abubakar, let's wait and see what the primaries will look like, because even Rotimi Amiche is in that mix. And another aspect is so like the maybe arrangement between Rotimi Amiche, Pa Odige Oyugun, where they are trying to have some meeting, maybe separate meeting, making sure to see if Rotimi Amiche might likely get the ticket, because even himself, he said he's interested in the position. Then let's look at Atiku Abubakar, who has been a professional in getting the ticket, but at the end of the day, he hasn't won the election. Can Atiku Abubakar step down and let Peter Obi, the likes of the likes of Rotimi Amiche go into that particular place? Obviously, that is not going to happen, because Atiku Abubakar wants to get superior dominance in the ADC, and at the end of the day, you will just find out that same thing that happened in 2023, which gave Bola Tinubu the position, and the same thing happened also in the PDP, where there was infighting that resulted to the G5 being created, and Atiku Abubakar was left alone. And at the end of the day, PDP was struggling. Minister of the FCT, who was then the Rivers State governor, couldn't support the PDP. At the end, he went to support the APC. So obviously, I really think that ADC, they might just be playing.
Let's get to Peter and see what he will have to say about this issue of ADC saying governors are treating Tinubu like God for political survivor. All right, 2027 election, ADC says governors treating Tinubu like God for political survivor. Peters, what do you think about this? Is this true or an allegation? Let me hear from you.
It is always allegedly. And, like I said, when elections are in the corner, you expect all of this. And who would not agree with them in a way that they are treating Tinubu like God? Because the level of defection we have witnessed in this dispensation, we have never witnessed it before in the history of democracy in Nigeria. You can actually say that when President Olusegun Obasanjo was there, that he had such effects and governors respected him, and then he was, permit me to use this word, he was law, he was a demigod. And the Obasanjo effect is what I see, or something that is higher, is what is happening presently, because almost every governor is in APC. So you expect that they will say that they are treating President Bola Ahmed Tinubu like God, because he seemed to be the magnet, and then every governor seemed to be attracted. But he has said it. He said that the reason why they are gravitating towards him is because he is giving them a beautiful reason that he's not forcing them, but that they've seen the light and they understand that previous administration, maybe they have to go through so much to settle or sort salary issues and other infrastructural development activities in their state. But within the hem of the affair of this country, that things are easy, governors are getting allocation and even more, which the figures actually back this up. But my like I've always tell you, and like I said, like I started this with, I would tell you that as an advocate for good governance and accountability, I believe that viable opposition is what really makes democracy thick. But we start complaining that they are treating, that thing is not like an allegation. It's a cry for help. It's an SOS, save our soul. Like everybody's going towards the opposition. So it paints a picture of what opposition parties think of what will happen in 2027. So if we say that they are already sensing that they might not be able to withstand the APC, I mean, I will not be far from the truth. So what they are saying is more not like an allegation, it's more like save our soul. It's going the APC way, and the president is God and anything can happen, but I am not happy about the development. I wish that political parties can actually put their houses together, beat their chests, and believe that it's the masses that can actually give power, not even the governors. And I still believe that is the Nigerians who give powers, not even the governors. So this wailing would not really help. They need to look inward. They need to know that people are the real power, and they need to gravitate towards informing, positive campaign, and speaking with the people through facts, figures, and seeable reason why the people should come to them, and reason why they should forget about following governors and come towards opposition party, and also let the people know that, okay, the problems you have, or the perceived problem, or the hardship that everybody seems to be talking about, we can actually fix it. So wailing that the governors treat people like God, it's not healthy for our democratic system. I think they need to look inward, and they need to be good oppositions, not opposition throwing allegations everywhere. I worry for our democracy. But then let's see what happens. Power should.
Oh, okay. Now, Reno Mokiri said something. It was in today's paper about Obi and, of course, Atiku. He said picking Obi as a running mate could cost Atiku Adamawa, meaning if Peter Obi is the one, all right, being a running mate, if Atiku pick Peter Obi as a running mate, it will affect Atiku's chances in the north, especially Adamawa. Is that true? This is coming from Reno Mokri.
I think Reno needs to be questioned more. We need to ask Reno why he said that. And I don't see that happening. And let's even look at it. Has Obi agreed that he will be Atiku's running mate? I don't think the obedient and lots of people who are staunch believers in Peter Obi, I don't think they will take this lightly. I don't think they will like this statement coming from Reno. But of course, Reno is not a very liked figure from the opposition side. So you should expect this. And then they expect reactions too, because are they saying that Peter Obi has already agreed to be Atiku's running mate? I have not heard about that. I don't think so. But then maybe Reno has information we don't have. So, but talking about whether it will affect Atiku in Adamawa or so, I don't really have an answer to that. But I think that whatever happens, 2027 will be an interesting year. Very unpredictable. Predictable to some people, but then Nigeria is a country where already we are at that level where so many things is due and so many things can happen. You might expect that things might go this way, but it might go the other way. I'm not trying to sound dogmatic here, but even those who really believe in God the Most High will tell you that God is interested in Nigeria, and they might even tell you that 2027 is that year that things begin to work for Nigeria. And then even people who believe and people who are strong believers in this present administration will tell you too that next year is that year where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu changes things for better. So about Reno's statement, I think Reno needs to be questioned more. And Obi has not really agreed, at least from the information that, the better information that we have, that most people have, Obi has not agreed to be Atiku's running mate, unless Reno has other information that we do not have.
All right, I'm coming back to you. Let me get to Ben in the studio here. Ben, did you hear what Peter said? As a matter of fact, treating what the governors are doing, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will tell you it is at their discretion. Some people will tell you it's because of 2027. Another people will tell you it's because they have some sins to hide. So for ADC to say, well, these people are just because of political survival, that's why they are treating the president as mini God. What do you think about that? Is that a political statement?
Well, you know, most of the people in the ADC, they have been they have been in the politics for a long period of time. We begin to count the names of those people in the ADC. When you look at the ADC chair, the former Senate President David Mark, and the likes of Atiku Abubakar, two-term governor, not one, not two, and Nasiru El-Rufai, Rotimi Amechi. So they understand the dynamics. What do you expect where a governor or a political person is going to see Bola Tinubu, for example? He has to go and lie down, and when he's greeting him and him trying to pay some form of obeisance and the like, it is because of how politics in Nigeria has been reduced to a position rather than giving people the dividends of democracy. And you know how it is when delegates are going out, they have the people they have in mind who they want to vote for. And at the end, somebody will be there studying the trend of how the election is going. At the end of the day, you might likely receive a call and they said, no, this particular position should go for this person, even if the person has not is not the first position. The likes of Emeka Nwajuba of recent, I just saw him at the ADC. I never knew that he was there. I thought he was still loyal to the APC of the late President Muhammadu Buhari. So I'm not even surprised the likes of Loretta Onoche, when Rufai was arrested, we saw him making some statement at the EFCC headquarters. So this is what politics can do, and at the end of the day, you just understand that there seems to be some crack within the APC, because some of the blocks, even when they have collectively come together to say, yes, we are not going to be the ACN again, we are going to be the APC, you still find out that perceived superiority complex, that perceived division, like the CPC, we have the NPDP there, we have the likes of ACN coming together. So that is why you see politics, for me, what they said might be true, because they might have the physical evidence where you will be calling person, treating President Bola Tinubu as a god. But basically, even if he is a god, what has thou done to Nigerian citizens? Has that translates to the realities on ground, where we really say that we are gotten infrastructure, and the hope and relief for advancement of the citizens have been seen from left, right, and center.
But did you agree with what Obokere said?
You said, what did he say?
Obokere said if Atiku venture pick Obi as a running mate, then it's going to have problem, all right? It's going to cost him the whole of Adamawa, his state.
Well, Reno Omokri, sometimes he speaks like a politician, he speaks like a public affairs analyst. On some occasions, he tends to make some predictions that never come to pass. But subsequently, when you look at Reno Omokri, you might likely say, comparing his past word previously from what he said. Is it not the same person that was calling the president names? We should tell ourselves the truth. Is it not the same person? But how come he has suddenly realized and subsequently will feel that? Is it because the governor has decamped from, the Adamawa state governor has decamped from the PDP to the APC? That is why he's making that statement. I think Reno Omokri has a job now. He should concentrate on his job and be collecting his salary.
Let me get to Peters. Peters, are you there right there? All right. Ben said Reno should face his work. Now, about INEC a little bit. As a matter of fact, this is what INEC is saying. The general election, INEC urges mass voter education ahead of polls. You remember what happened in our previous election, the by-elections that happened, especially the FCT election? You discovered that there was a lot of voter apathy. It's as if people were not educated, people don't know what is happening about the electoral process and all of that. People didn't come out to vote. Do you think what we need to do to our voters is to educate them more? Would that make them come out? Or what do you think is responsible for the apathy as we try to let you go?
You know, one of the biggest problems. Can you hear me? I think one of the biggest problems we have in this country is one of the biggest problems INEC need to tidy or need to fix quick is voters' education. Voters' education is very, very important. That is what brings about good governance. You know that voters do not even know, most voters still do not even know reasons why they should vote. They do not even know it is their civic responsibility to even go and cast their vote. But when you say that too, you need to say one thing. So when you talk about apathy and talk about not being educated as regards why you should vote, now, apathy also plays a part in this. Some people will tell you from our research, they will tell you that even if we vote, of what good are our votes? They'll tell you that they voted so time, it did not work. They are still convinced that their candidate actually won and was denied of it. Some people will tell you today that, okay, Peter Obi won the last election, but he was denied of it. Some people will tell you then that, okay, at some point, Atiku Abubakar won, and it was given to late Muhammadu Buhari. So I think INEC, apart from even voter education, INEC need to do more. Transparency, openness. INEC need to embrace technology. They need to make this as transparent as possible for even for a blind bat to understand that, look, the elections are free and fair. And firstly, it starts with their willingness to show that they are ready and that they are on ground to deliver credible and fair election to the Nigerian masses. Because if the people you are working for do not have faith in you, you definitely would understand that at some point there will definitely be apathy and complaint. So INEC needs to get that right. They need to make elections as transparent as possible. This last FCT, this election, this local government election in the FCT, I said, okay, it will actually be more like a pre-litmus test for what will be expected in 2027. But same, all same, people complain, the wailers wail, the hailers hailed, and it's still the same. But we need to draw a line and bring the hailers and the wailers together. At least let the line be seen. not very thick, because the line is usually it's long now. After every election, there are more enemies than friends. So I think on that level, and in that regard, INEC needs to do so much to try and make elections as transparent and as credible as credibility can be. So talking about voters' education, yes, they need to educate voters, and they need to use the right people. They need to let the voters know. And you are actually a communication specialist, as I am too. So when you talk about voters' education, who are you using? What instruments? They need to employ, when I mean employ, the services of opinion leaders. It might not be paid, but they could actually look at it too as their civic responsibilities. Use opinion leaders, religious leaders to pass the right messages across. But when education becomes campaign, that's where the problem is. INEC, firstly, should educate the people using the right means, the right channels, and the right people to let them know that, firstly, before you complain, you need to make sure that you vote and that you are ready to vote and that you are able to vote. So the education is massive. It's from voters' education that voters are able to understand that, dude, if we vote rightly, we will get the right leaders. If we protect our votes, we will not have to win. And from protection, and some protection does not mean we'll have to fight, or we have to be violent, or that we have to sell our votes, or that. And they need to understand that when they sell their vote, that's when vote buying, violence, thuggery, it all has to do with voters' education. So I think voter education is super
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Peters, for joining us on Global Roundtable today. It's so good to have you join us on Global Roundtable today. That is a wonderful analysis. I'll return back to Ben in the studio here. Many thanks once again for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and see you next time.
Oh, let's get back to the studio. You heard what Peter said. So what do you think about the issue? Is our problem voters' education? Because if you want to talk about voters' education now, a lot of money will be put in there. And for every election, almost every national election, like in 2027 now, there will be a lot of voter education. You see you see INEC moving from one place to the other, National Orientation Agency, and a lot of people doing it. But why are we still where we are? Imagine the kind of voter apathy that we have. But for INEC now to say, well, for the general election, they are urging mass voter education ahead of the polls. Is that what we need as Nigerians at the moment, especially the electorates?
Well, the Department of Voters Education has been there, and I know the likes of this lawyer, what is this name? I can't really remember the name, has shared that position. But do you really know, if you are saying that you voters education, you want to do a lot, you want to do it so that people were able to be sensitized of the events in respect of the 2027 general election, you might also be asking yourself, what happened to the children that were, all the children are in all the states of the federation that were giving birth, let's just say year 2000, whereby you know that once these children are registered, and once they are 18, maybe 18 years time, you should be preparing to know where they are domiciled, whether they are in school, and subsequently you begin to think of the possibility of teaching them. They have to incorporate these things in our educational system. And INEC has never complained that they don't have money. So I don't think they have the capacity to do that. But when you want to wait, it's in the eve of election, 2-3 weeks or 3 months before the election, you begin to sensitize people. Nobody will have that time. But I really think if INEC has to look at the whole issues bothering them, they should be able to look at the possibility of making sure that maybe in the secondary schools, when these kids are approaching 18, they should begin to think of the possibility of teaching them civic education enough so that they can get the best. But once some Nigerians seems to be telling you that they don't have the belief that INEC can give a transparent election, then you begin to think that most likely people really don't care. What do you want to come and educate? Are you opening a classroom, or you just need to share flyers and maybe translate the messages to 3 Nigerian languages, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, and possibly Pidgin? That is, I think, the most I have seen. But basically, I think we should go deeper in making sure that when people sit down, children sit down in their classroom, they should be studying the past histories of our president. The president that did not do well, they should be able to sell those challenges to these people so that they will grow with a larger mindset and see how they can incorporate this to their private life, and subsequently they will now say, okay, I am ready to change the narrative. Just the way Martin Luther King said, but you know how it is. His speech has become so popular because he didn't just get into leadership it started at a younger age. But what has happened? Can we produce such people in the school? We are seeing a lot of bullying in the schools these days. You've seen it over the news, and at the end of the day, just ask yourself, is this what we really want? INEC, for me, I don't think they will be complaining they don't have money. INEC has a lot of money to facilitate all elections, except they just want to be prudent with the money and making sure that they are not really sensitizing the people, because if it is a mass voters education, I think they should do the best.
All right, we're trying to end up now, but then Onyema is saying something. He said Nigerians must vote for ideas and not money bags. You know what happened during the election? With the state of hunger in the land. How soon do you see vote buying getting out of the scene?
Well, I don't think vote buying will get out of the scene, because even during the period of late MK Abiola, there was vote buying. When a very senior journalist told me, I said, how did money exchange? I said, when you put a particular leaf in your mouth, you know that you are allegedly supporting this particular political party. And I asked, what kind of leaf? He said, you should know. And of course, Dogoyaro 3, which is called NIM 3, was popular at that time. So there was vote buying. So when you talk of this sophistication of times that we are digital-ish, AI, then vote buying will be very, very difficult to stop. And I really think also, if people are selling their vote in anticipation that they are not getting the dividends of democracy, or they will not see the politician again, I think they are shooting themselves in the foot. Because if it is vote buying, maybe if they are selling vote for 10,000 this 2023, obviously in 2027 we may be looking at a higher price. So who is fixing the price? I don't know. Will it be the demand and supply? I don't know.
Time is up. Meaning, instead of getting rid of it, it's going to be increasing.
It's obvious.
Our time is up. Thank you for joining us
so
on Global Roundtable today. Thank you very much, Iyas Peter, for joining us on Global Roundtable via Zoom, and everyone out there. It's a pleasure having you join us on Global Roundtable. This is the size of the program for today. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Bye-bye for now.